What do you think, Anthony?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's something actually I'm not saying, but I was thinking about it not so long ago. Because I definitely think it's similar to say the basketball situation. I can't remember the team I read about 6 or 7 months ago who have come from nothing in the NBA, and the reason they have come from nothing to say the top, I can't remember the name of the team, was because of their 3-point accuracy.
Right, okay. Well, I know the Houston Rockets have moneyballed their way to the top.
Was it one of those?
Well,
yeah.
by not moneyball, but like statistically looking into exactly the power of the 3-point line.
Yeah, it could have been that, but what I took from the article just simply was the fact that they focus just on this, you know. So there's a lot of kind of just, you know, the gun and run in NBA where they're so big and they're just you know. So this is an ability where they're saying, well, actually, instead of doing that, we're going to completely try to change the game. We're going to get our accuracy up. It's funny, you know, Ger references Paul Flynn. I don't know if I said this to you, but I definitely said it to one of the lads a couple of years ago, maybe 2 seasons ago, or maybe even last season. He came off the bench at one stage in a game, a Leinster Championship game. Maybe, I think he was coming in as a blood sub or something like this. But he got a ball underneath the Hogan stand, looked up and hit this kind of speculative shot for goal, for a point, off the outside of his right boot, 45, 50 metres, and it just tailed off wide. Now, I mean just tailed off wide. Would have been a fantastic score. But Jim Gavin jumped up off the bench. I looked down, I was doing the match for News Talk, and I looked down and Gavin jumped up off the bench and ran over, like basically berating him. And I remember I said to myself, I said, I've never seen him do that, ever, ever, ever. And it was just a kind of a real typical thing of, listen, that's what you used to do in 10, 11. That's not what we do now. And it all comes down to, when you get a stats guy to look at it, it's all efficiency, you know, where you take your shots from, etc. So how do you break that cycle? Because if you're really being a cold, calculated way of doing it, you would say, well, you know, the less efficient shot is taking it from outside here. You know, you obviously take it from closer to goal, you're going to have more chances of scoring. So how do you break that? Well, you say, well, actually, we're going to give you double the return. We're going to make it 2 points instead of 1. So therefore, a management team will decide, actually, well, is the decrease in efficiency and maybe the amount of times we score it more beneficial, and if we actually get double the scores for the amount of times we get it. So if we kick 4 wide from outside the arc, but we get 5 scores, we get 10 points. Whereas we would have to get 10 shots inside to get the same equivalent. So, you know, teams would all of a sudden weigh it up like that and then say, okay, we need to get the ball to the right guys who can actually do this. And you get fellas in training who become really prolific at it. And you try and get the ball to that guy who can actually execute it from 40 metres, 50 metres out. And there's no doubt about it. Guys are, you know, you even see off the ground now, lads are kicking 50s for fun. You know, they're just stroking them over the bar. So they're really training at it, and there's an ability now just to stroke it over the bar. And most of them are actually rising as they're going over the post in Croke Park now. So there's still plenty in it. So can they take shots from outside 50 metres? Yeah, I think no problem. But what you need to do is you need to reward that skill if you're going to do it. And it would be a great thing to see, because all of a sudden it does, as a defensive team, it makes you then come out.
Yeah.
You know, you have to come out, because you can't just let guys shoot.
Who would be the best 2-point shooter in GA?
Oh, at this stage, like actual player?
Yeah.
I think Murphy's pretty good. You know, he can hit them from distance. McManus kicks pretty big long-range scores too. You know, it's hard. Like, I mean, an awful lot of the scoring over the last number of years has been within the D, as they call it. Like, I mean, if you look at Dublin's scoring, I think last year I saw a statistic, you know, they only shot one ball, 1 point outside the 30-metre line. One shot. The whole game. You know, and if you dotted it, it pretty much is, it's inside the D, it's everything around here, it's work it in, work it in, work it in. We either fist it over the bar, have a shot on goal, or we just tip it over the bar. There's no longer the speculative. And let's be honest, like, you know, I played with some fellas who could kick points, you know, and kick it from angles, and it was just fantastic to see, you know, like, I mean, it really is. And it's great for the crowd, because it really does, like, so there's a massive appreciation. You still get it in hurling, you know, maybe probably even not as much still. There's, you know, I think hurling is probably working it into areas as well. But when you see that long range score, it's great.
Yeah, it's mad that, like, one of the takeaways from the Galway-Dublin game last year, one thing I remember is Damien Comer's incredible point under the Cusack, I think, think.
Yeah.
And like that was in a losing effort that actually tailed off pretty miserably in the end. They had no hope against Dublin in the end, but it's still the one thing I really remember from the second half of that game. Like, which goes to show that it is a memorable moment. It is one of the things that fans look out for. But it's an interesting debate. You can get that full discussion as well on youtube.com/offtheball. Kieran Donaghy's Shot Clock is live every Thursday morning on OTBAM.